Have you ever been told by your doctor that your labs are normal, even though you feel anything but normal? Maybe you're feeling like a zombie moving through your day. I know I used to. Or maybe you're brain fogged, you're feeling in pain, you're exhausted doing the simplest of tasks. Well, I want you to know that this isn't all in your head. It's not normal, and many other people, including me, had also slipped through the net when it came to thyroid testing. So I'm going to go on to explain why sometimes we are experiencing our thyroid labs coming back as normal, even though there are still issues with the thyroid and other things going on in the body. So firstly, normal ranges are quite broad, and they're more designed to treat disease than to promote optimal health. So if we look at functional medicine doctors, in functional medicine, they take a really holistic approach to healing. And they actually have a thyroid lab ranges that are actually called optimal ranges as opposed to normal ranges. So they're a lot more strict about what it actually means to have optimal levels as opposed to just kind of scraping by on a normal level. So that's number one. Number two is that most doctors are only testing TSH, which stands for thyroid stimulating hormone. Some doctors can also test for T4 if you're really lucky. But again, these tests are not giving us a full picture of what's going on with our thyroid health. TSH is a brain hormone, so it's like the messenger going from the brain to the thyroid, and it tells it whether it needs to increase or decrease the amount of thyroid hormone, depending on what's happening in the body. Now, the issue is that it's a brain hormone and not a thyroid hormone. So just testing that alone, it's not giving us a full picture. Now, T4, again, isn't giving us a full picture because a lot of the T4 actually needs to be converted in our body into T3, which is the active version of the hormone, which basically just means that it's the hormone that can be utilized by our body. It can be utilized by our cells. So if we have conversion issues, then we're not getting enough of the hormone that we really need. So even though we might have normal levels of T4, we might have really low levels of T3. And in those cases, and I know people who are doing this, they are actually taking combined medication, which is T4, T3 medication to help them. And because the normal medication, such as levothyroxine, is normally a replacement for the T4 and not the T3. And then I would say the elephant in the room, the most critical element of all this is if you've been told that your labs are normal, but you're still getting symptoms, maybe you're also taking medication and maybe it helped a little bit, maybe it made things worse, maybe it hasn't made any difference, but you're still getting symptoms mostly because about 90 to 97% of hypothyroidism cases are caused by Hashimoto's, according to Dr. Isabella Wentz. So Hashimoto's is an autoimmune disease. And so hypothyroidism is actually a symptom of the disease. So really, we're not looking in the right place because yes, we can take a hormone replacement and that can absolutely help some people feel better. It didn't help me feel better. It actually gave me more side effects. It depends on the person. We're all so unique. But even if it does help one to feel better in the short term, it's still not fixing the autoimmune problem that's actually fueling this problem. So the immune system still continues to attack the thyroid. Now, the issue is we're told that the thyroid exists in a vacuum, apparently, and that it just, if something's happening to the thyroid, it doesn't affect the rest of the body. That's just not true. I have lived experience of it. My clients have. I've met so many thyroid warriors. whose whole bodies have been affected by Hashimoto's and their thyroid. And so when the immune system is out of balance, it causes a lot of inflammation in the body, not just to the thyroid, but the whole body is just out of balance, okay? It sends everything out of whack. It can affect everything from our digestion to our liver to our menstrual cycles, our breathing, our heart rates. So it goes on beyond the main symptoms of fatigue and weight gain and hair loss, for example. It goes beyond that, and it affects almost every single process in the body. So that could be why you're still having symptoms, even though you're being told things look normal on paper, because things haven't been checked that need to be checked. So that's why, if you're looking to get your health back and ultimately reclaim your power over yourself, your health, and your life, your first step is going to be getting the right tests. You want to get a full thyroid panel to really get a holistic view of what's going on. And then only from there can we then, once we know what's going on, we can then start working towards our goal of better health, of getting our life back. But we need to get clear about where we are. You know, it's like if you wanted to put in your destination in a sat nav, it needs to know where you're starting from. You know, you can't get from A to B unless you know where A is. And if we don't know what we're dealing with, then how on earth are we going to get to our destination? Right? So that's why getting clarity over what's happening in your body and getting a full picture of your thyroid health is going to help you to get on this journey towards better health. So to make this easy for you, I've put together a checklist of the top thyroid tests that you need to get, as well as some nutrient tests as well, because these key nutrients like vitamin D, for example, can play a really big part in perpetuating Hashimoto's. It's like a vicious cycle, really. So once you've got all of those tests done and you can see what's really going on, only then can you then start to take steps in the right direction that are actually going to work, because you know what you're targeting. Okay, so I've put this free checklist in a link down below, so make sure that you get that. And if you found this video helpful, please do give it a like, comment below and let me know where you are in your thyroid journey. You know, have you been told that your labs are normal but you're still getting symptoms? I'd love to hear from you. So I wish you all the best of luck on your journey, and I will see you in the next video.